Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl T from Eventures of Spirits, and tonight we have a special guest. And so I know it's been a while since I've done a couple of interviews. We've been focusing on spirits, but I could not let the year end without interviewing this specific channel. Okay, let me give you some info about her. And I'm pretty sure all of you know already. You know her family, everything that they do. When I introduce you, you'll be excited. I know some of you have already spoken to her, but just not the way we're going to talk today, right? So that's what we're going to do. So let me introduce them. So this specific channel is a cruising channel. Okay, they love traveling. They travel as a family. Sometimes you may also see MH Family Ventures as a solo traveler. The family consists of Ron, Rockwell, for those who don't know, is Rockwell. Take note of that. You have Andrew, you have Dice, and you have Joe. And they travel all over the world to just explore together and do things as a family. Some of their accomplishments, I would say they have five nominations for the most current Meet and I Awards. And they are already a Meet and I Award winner last year for Channel of the Year. She is a top salesperson for MSC and Carnival and multi-million-dollar agency, thanks to YouTube followers, supporters, as well as those who just love the work that she does. I can tell you, if you don't know anything about travel, if you haven't been anywhere, you tune into MH Family Adventures and she will definitely give you all the information that you need. Anything from adventure to just relaxing to luxury, from MSC, Carnival, Princess, you name it, Alaska, local, international. She got it all. But I'm going to let you know. Do you know who it is? Do you know who I'm speaking of? Well, I'm going to introduce to you and just present to some, because some of you know her already. I'm going to bring up to the stage, we have Ron and Rockwell from MH Family Adventures. Yay!
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
How are you?
Good. Yes, I'm doing little cheers for you.
We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I can tell you that when the first time that I saw MH Family Adventures channel, I'm let you know this. This was before I connected or even started my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it. I'm trying to think of where you all were. You were on Carnival. I remember your son he likes basketball. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay, so he
Mm-hmm.
was playing basketball, and I just remember the way you would interact with the camera, and I'm like, okay, is this a vlog? Is this a travel advertisement type video? Because there's a vibe to those
Right,
type of
right.
videos, right? And a lot of times, sometimes people choose which type of videos they want. Sometimes they just want vlogging, like people just doing whatever. And then sometimes they tune in because they're like, well, I specifically need to know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on this ship, what's available, how much it is, what are some of the activities to do. And I just noticed that MH Family Adventures was like a combination of both.
And they're both fun.
And I watched it and said, now this is different. So I've been watching you before I even knew you as Rockwell
Mm-hmm.
and Ron, right? So when I did get involved with YouTube and I started to see you, oh, she's in this network here. She's with, oh, I know, like I didn't know you, but I'm like, I know them,
Uh-huh.
So I was actually very excited, and I said, every time I turn around, you're gone. Y'all are traveling. Either it's family, and then
Tired.
recently it's solo. And I said, I pretty much doubt I'm gonna be able to get her on my itinerary for 2024. I'm definitely probably gonna have to wait to 2025. But when I contacted you, I was just so grateful that you were able to squeeze me in your busy schedule with
No,
the
it's a
travel.
pleasure. We really appreciate the invite, but I never thought of it that way. That is
Mm-hmm.
exactly how we vlog. It's more, it's vlogging style and it's information. So it's combined. I don't think I've ever heard it talked about
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
And that's how I look at the channels. Like me and my husband would look, and before we go on a trip, is let's go to YouTube and see who's done it.
Hmm.
And you would give key pertinent information that the traveler would want to know. This is what's expected. This is how long it takes. This is how to get here. This is the best people to use to get here. This is the best place to stay. And I said, well, this is different. I said, I like this. So I've been watching you for a minute before actually connecting within the network here. So I really appreciate it. And I can tell you your travel has helped us choose certain ships, and also like certain travel, like transportation or certain excursions. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's kind of our goal is to help make things easier for the new travelers, new cruisers, or even those that do it often.
Hmm.
Just to A lot of times it's easier to make plans after you've seen someone do it, go through it, and it kind
Right.
of relieves some of that anxiety, that travel anxiety that you might have. So that's kind of like our goal, our mission is to encourage people to get out there and travel and to alleviate some of that added pressure
Yeah.
of trying to plan and figure out what to do, where to go, what to eat, that kind of thing. So
And
Yeah.
traveling with the family.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're by yourself, it's a little different when you're traveling with the family, because you
Mhm.
can do something. If something just don't go right, you can just real quick, just because it's just one person. But
Right.
when you have your team with you, it's like, okay, well, it's 4 or 5 of us here,
Mhm.
so we may not be able to maneuver as quickly, and in reference to accommodations. I can tell you that we'll be going to Greece next year. And so if you've noticed, I said, okay, I need to go back to the videos that I saw
Mhm.
already, because she's already been through this. And my whole thing was, okay, when we get there, where do we stay?
Right.
Because certain places, it's not like, oh, you just book a Hilton. Certain places is not like that. So I'm like, there
Mhm.
has to be a place that's close by or easy to get to the port.
Yes.
So definitely. So I just revert back to your video, and
Well,
it
we appreciate it.
definitely let us know that. So you'll probably get more questions from me after I
Yeah.
really look at what to do in Athens,
Okay.
over there. So because we'll have one full day before we leave on the ship before we go.
Yes. Nice. You're gonna
So
love it. Yes.
I know everyone sees MH Family Ventures on the screen, but who is MH Family Adventures? And I'm gonna ask you this like a twofold. Who was MH Family Adventures first, and who's MH Family Adventures today?
Okay. So I guess MH Family Ventures would be myself, Raquel, Ron, our 3 children, Andrew, Dyson, we call him Dice, and Joe Marie, we call her Joe. We initially started off as
Just a family travel channel.
no, we did
No.
not.
We started off as a cooking
We
show.
started off as a cooking channel.
Yes.
So we
Okay.
started off that way. It was kind of a bet because during the time it was almost exactly 4 years ago when we
Okay.
first started YouTube. YouTube was banned in our household because we
Yes.
didn't think it was appropriate for children. So we
Really?
didn't watch YouTube. We banned YouTube, and then the pandemic happened.
Ah.
And at that point, we had just gone on our first cruise in 2019,
Hmm.
and I was addicted to cruising and I had to watch cruising. So then YouTube is where I turned. And so the kids are
Okay.
like, well, Mom, you can watch YouTube. How come we can't watch YouTube?
Yes.
I'm like, because I don't know how to set the settings, for the parental settings of things. Y'all can't
Right.
watch YouTube, but I can. So I started watching YouTube. And then Dice actually approached me and he was like, well, Mom, if we can't watch YouTube, how can we just make our own channel? And I said, well, you guys can, but maybe we can as a family. So that's kind of where it came
Okay.
from, was him saying,
Ah,
if we can't watch it, can we create our own?
Yep.
And then we, go ahead.
So we started as a cooking channel, and some of those older videos got hundreds of views.
To this day.
oh wow.
So our first video was Joe Marie makes pumpkin pie. And I think it's maybe at 230 views right now. So
Oh
get
my God.
to
And
it.
this was like 2020, 2020,
This was
21.
2020. Yeah, it
Okay.
was like November, December 2020.
Yeah.
And then gradually over time, when I realized that cooking wasn't doing anything, I was like, well, we'll see. So then I figured, well, we'll just be like a variety channel. We'll kind of do
Okay.
lifestyle, we'll do other things. So we did a couple of like land-based trips like St. Thomas,
Okay.
and we did San Juan, Puerto Rico. And then we took our
Chicago.
first Chicago. We did Chicago, Atlanta. We went
Okay.
to a whole bunch of different places in Atlanta. Those vlogs didn't do well either. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So then September of 2021, that's when the restart took place with cruising. I surprised Dice with the birthday cruise. It was a mom-son cruise because we didn't feel comfortable with Joe Marie at the
Okay.
time wearing masks and all of that on a cruise
Mhm.
ship. So I said, well, just the three of us will go. It'll be a mom and son's trip. We'll kind of test out what this new cruising is like with masks. We'll do that. And that's when I picked up my phone. At the time, it was a phone. And I said, we're going to vlog this and kind of show people what is it like, because I was watching a lot of cruising YouTube. And
Yes.
it's like, well, I can just kind of highlight and show what it's like cruising during the pandemic with the
Right.
new restart. And that's kind of where things took off.
Okay. Because I know people, let me tell you, I was one of those people guilty of that. I traveled during the pandemic
Mhm.
internationally. And let me
Mhm.
tell you, it was like a roll of the dice because, it was easy to fly out.
Oh, yeah.
Coming back, you had to pass that COVID test or you weren't coming back.
Right.
And so it was like, we're going. And we would
Mhm.
go and we would just wear our masks and keep to ourselves. But I mean, you're in a buffet, you're in places,
Right.
and it would be so funny because they, it's like usually like 2 days before you fly out, they're like, okay, it's time for your COVID test. And
Mhm.
everybody lines up and you see people sitting there like, oh God,
Right.
like, please. And then they see people doing this stuff and they looking at them like, I'm good, right? And then they
Yeah.
finally give you your paper and it's like, yes, I can go home. And then you just enjoy the rest of your trip,
Right.
But there was quite a few people that did not make it back home.
And
They
I
had
mean,
to
even with the
stay and
cruising, yeah, you had to get tested right during the terminal. So, I mean,
yes,
yeah, you could have flown all the way to Miami and then get turned away because you have COVID there at the cruise terminal.
exactly. Ooh,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. So speaking of traveling, during COVID, did you travel a lot? Or was it
We
just like every now and again?
No, we during COVID, like I said, we took our first cruise in 2019, and I think we took only three before
Okay.
COVID happened.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so we weren't even traveling as a family like that. We were doing more like local, like going to Chicago,
Okay.
going
Right.
to
Domestic stuff.
DC. Yeah, we were doing those types of trips, but we weren't doing it regularly. So it's like once we got that cruise bug, it was like, okay, if we can't cruise, we're going to go somewhere where I can see some blue water. And so
Right.
then it was, okay, let's go to St. Thomas, let's go to San Juan, so we were doing those things during COVID.
Mhm.
So we weren't traveling a lot, but then once the restart happened and we felt safe getting on Carnival Sunrise as a mom and son trip, then I think we started back cruising, but it
Okay.
wasn't like we're cruising now. It was once,
Couple of months.
yeah, it was like once every couple of months or what have you, but it wasn't often.
But I
Okay.
would challenge you. I would say that we did travel because we really don't give our kids a lot of material gifts. We give them experiences. So we
Okay.
would drive to Chicago, to DC, to St. Louis,
Ooh.
and do those things.
So like road trips, you just
Yeah,
Road trips.
drive.
that's what we got the
Which I
music
won't
van
do.
for.
I won't do to this day. I'm done with road trips.
Yeah, look, I feel you on that. I think we stopped doing well, it wasn't, I wouldn't call it road trip, but between Georgia and my husband's hometown, that's 6 to 7 hours, right?
Mhm.
And then my hometown is 13 hours from here.
Okay.
And we did a whole lot of driving when our daughter was little baby and all of that. But once she got to the point where we felt like let's go ahead and fly, that was it. Those road trips cut out.
That's it.
I think she was
Mhm.
like 8. I was like, okay, no more road trips. We flying. We're
Right.
flying. We're flying.
For us with the family of 5, it's kind of sometimes the road trip's the best. But I didn't realize how bad of a driver I was until my wife consistently points it out to me. So
So, who is MH Family Adventures today?
Um, a cruising channel. We do nothing but cruising at this point. We cruise. I can't say we because now we've transitioned to it. I now do this full time. So
Okay.
I was an educator, school principal for 19 years. And about a year and a half ago, I quit and I've been now doing this full time. So between our travel agency and YouTube and cruising, I do it full time. So there's a lot of family cruise content, but lately over the last year, there's been a lot of me going
Yeah.
solo because I now do it full time. So you can expect to see us cruising probably once a month, if not more than that at this
Right.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. I've gotten. I said, is she going again? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
where's she going
I
today?
know.
What's she cruising on? I'm like, I'm just nosy. I'm like, where is she going? But there's some cruise ships that you've done that that are like, okay, well, I'll try it. Because MSC, I'm still like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I just keep getting mixed views of them, but
You got to try it.
yeah, we definitely will probably try the princess. We keep
Okay.
hearing some good things about the princess, so we'll
Mhm.
probably do that.
Yes.
Definitely. So what was your first year like on YouTube? Like good, bad, and ugly?
It was just like a lot of trial and error with
Mhm.
with learning YouTube. For me, because I'm not very tech savvy, I am now. I've learned to be tech savvy.
Yeah.
Learning how to vlog, how to look at the camera. Like there's so many things you don't think goes behind the scenes of creating a
Mm-hmm.
YouTube video. And so really when you look back at some of those, like sometimes we'll just kind of have a playlist running and an old video pop up and I'm like, oh, that was terrible. Like what was I looking at? I wasn't even looking at the lens. And so you start really reflecting on, yeah, we've grown a lot. So like that first year, it was just for us putting the content out there. We weren't getting views, so it was very, and this is for anyone that starts a YouTube channel, though that first little hump is kind of rough because you're not
Right.
getting views, you're not monetized, you really have nothing that's kind of keeping you motivated to want to create content and post content and
Mm-hmm.
engage with your followers and subscribers. So it was kind of a struggle because I felt like I know I can cook, and it's like we put these cooking videos out, and we weren't getting anybody commenting or no views, and I'm like, if they just try the recipe, they'll see that they want to come follow, subscribe, and it wasn't happening. So it started getting a little discouraging, and honestly, it got to the point where I was going to kind of stop it. But Joe Marie was excited about trying to make a recipe on video, so we kind of
Okay.
kept it up for a little bit. But for me, it was just that learning how to vlog and how to edit. For me, that
Right.
is probably the worst part of YouTube for me, was learning how to,
and how time consuming.
yeah, how time consuming it
Mm-hmm.
was. Something else that was kind of a shocker for me with YouTube was, having banned YouTube from our household and now going publicly on a
Uh-huh.
social media platform. That was like a culture shock because prior to YouTube, I had Facebook, I had Instagram, I think, and everything was private. So anybody on my page was family, friend, colleague,
Mhm.
to now we're open to these
Everybody.
internet trolls. So,
Oh, yes, them.
yeah. So for me, it was kind of, it's like you hear that, you hear comments about people can be mean, people can be cruel, and it's like we don't surround ourselves with those types of people. So it was kind of a shocker once
Yeah.
we really started getting some views on our videos that people were making some rude and nasty comments. So for me, that was probably the worst part of YouTube, was opening ourselves up publicly for that
Right.
type of criticism and critique. And you know, most of it was, you know, they would say things about, you know, we travel with our son who's autistic. Some of it might have been them not understanding, you know, autism. Or it might be, oh, she's fat. Oh, I have a bad stutter. I say a lot. So in the beginning, I said a lot.
A lot. Okay.
And people would comment and say, will you stop saying or I counted how many times you said
Are
now I
you
say
serious?
yeah, we got it a lot. And now I say and I don't care. Count what you want. Leave a comment, because then I'm gonna say thank you for the engagement.
There you
And I'm
go.
gonna give
Thank
you
you
the
for the
peace sign.
interaction. Thank
There
you.
you go. Because you helping pay my bills. Thank you. So
That's right.
it just took some time to get used to that. We don't get as much of that anymore because I really believe our core followers are truly, you know, here to see us succeed and watch our
Right.
videos and this and that. But you know, every so
Mhm.
often you get a troll. So for me, that was probably the worst part. And then not getting paid. I
Right.
mean, you got to talk about the pay, because most people start a YouTube channel not for the entertainment purpose.
Right.
You hear and see about these mega creators that are making millions on YouTube,
Yeah.
and you think,
Mhm.
hey, I have potential. I can, you know, make some money on YouTube. And you don't.
Right.
That first year, we weren't even, well, the first year we weren't even monetized.
Mm.
It took until the probably year two for us to get monetized. But
Wow.
even at that point, we weren't even making that $100 threshold to get a paycheck every month. So it might have
Wow.
been every other month we got a little, you know, a couple $100 here and there. So that was discouraging, because I felt like we were, even at that time, posting
Yeah.
content regularly, but we weren't really getting paid. So it got to the point where, do we continue doing this or do we
Right.
not? So yeah, but that was probably the worst part. But the good about YouTube was that I just felt like, for me, it was something new and refreshing.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't really have, other than work, I really didn't have a hobby or anything. So for me, it kind of gave me something else to do. So I enjoyed it
Okay.
for that reason, and I learned a new skill set.
Okay. All right. So what I understood was once the trolls come, it's almost like, okay, you've not like arrived, like this is it,
Mhm.
like the end of the finish line, but it's almost like, okay, I'm getting more views, I'm getting pushed
Mhm.
out more, because the trolls can't see you if you're not pushed out,
Right.
right? And
Absolutely.
that means you're being pushed out to people beyond your subscribers.
Yep. Yep.
So
Exactly.
when you start seeing trolls, it's like, ooh,
Mhm.
okay, everything's going good now. Okay, let's see. And then
Right.
you let your mods let them, give some interaction, and then if they start getting crazy, then you just kick them out and just
Right.
after they hit that like button though.
Yep. Run up the engagement.
Exactly. Okay. So I know you touched on it a little bit. So your timeline of your growth, I know you said like your first year you wasn't really monetized, but from what I understand, the monetization rules had changed from before to now, and we're just talking
Mhm.
about number of subscribers, not money or anything. But the monetization threshold, when did you see like at least getting up to past 1,000? Was that like 2 years?
It was after the first year. And I honestly don't mind talking money, because I do feel there's lack of transparency on, as far as
Okay.
YouTube, especially with like Black creators.
Right.
And so if you caught my I'm actually in the process of creating a end of the year wrap up for this year, where I will
Okay.
reveal how much I made on YouTube. I shared last year that I made almost 15,000 on YouTube last year.
Nice.
I will say that we've tripled that this year.
Nice.
So I'm very transparent in a lot of things, because I feel like there's not enough for those upcoming,
Right.
you know, channels wanting to know kind of how it works. So I never have a problem being transparent, but I would say we didn't get to the point of being monetized until at least a solid year of
Okay.
putting content out. Not really travel content, but just the random cooking, and then some of the land-based trips. Then after that, Carnival Sunrise in September 2021, that's about when we hit 1,000 subscribers. And I think at
Okay.
that time it was 1,000 subscribers and 4,000
Flowers.
watch hours, I
Nice.
believe, to get
Yeah.
monetized.
Okay.
So then we got monetized, and I think by year two we hit 5K. And I think that
Mhm.
was just us putting out videos. And at that time, it was only family videos. So
Okay.
I wasn't doing any solo trips. or anything like that. It was,
Just us.
just family trips. And it wasn't even regular. It wasn't as regular as it is now. It was probably once
Right.
every 3 months we were cruising.
Right.
Um, then by year 3, which would have been last year, we hit 10K. We hit 10K last year, probably November.
Yeah, how many cruises did you do last year?
I don't. I've done 64 cruises so far
Wow.
since 2019. So quite a bit of cruising. But yeah, we hit 10K last year and we hit 25K last month.
Okay.
So over 4 years, we've grown 25K and we more than doubled since last year. So we kind of have an aggressive goal for next year. So
Oh.
I think once you start growing and you're
Mm-hmm.
consistently posting, you'll see that the subscribers continue to come.
Continue to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, but the challenge is, it's like, when you talk the good, bad, and ugly of YouTube, it's like one of the things that I was doing in the beginning is comparing myself to others and
Ah.
saying, well, here's another family channel, maybe not a Black family channel,
Mm-hmm.
that, they're putting out less content than us. How come they're now at 100K and we can't barely
Right.
get, so it was a lot of that, comparing, why aren't we growing as fast as
Right.
others. So, and I still kind of sometimes look at some of those things, but I try not to get bothered with that, because
Yeah.
in my mind, it's like we have a core group of followers that are very loyal.
Real followers. Right.
Right. And so, we do want to have some sort of viral moment, but we don't want a viral
Mm-hmm.
moment that's going to help us grow to 100,000 subscribers, yet we only get 200-300 views
Yeah.
because people aren't engaging with us. We'd rather have our
Exactly.
25,000 hitting 10,000 views on our videos, and we're getting real comments, real questions, and we're
Right.
engaging with those people. So,
Right. Yeah. I was going to say that because a lot of times when people do compare themselves,
mhm.
to others, they don't know really what's going on behind the scenes. And sometimes those subscribers are real and sometimes they're not real.
Right. That's
And
true.
so just like you said, well, how you have this many and your views is this much. That those
Mhm.
don't add up,
Yeah.
So totally get it. Totally
Hmm.
get that. What were some of your lessons learned, during your growth and from beginning until now? What was some of your lessons learned that I guess that you apply now to your channel, that maybe you had to learn earlier?
I would say just being consistent. I think
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning we weren't really consistent. And I think once we started creating a schedule of when we were posting, that is when we really saw our subscriber base grow, because people already know every Friday you're going to get a TGI Friday vlog. Every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, you're going to get a vlog. Every other Tuesday, we're going to go have a chit chat live. So once people realize you have a schedule, it's kind of like back in the day before you had on demand and things, when you knew, oh, Family
Yeah,
Matters is coming on at 7
I
p.m.
got to
every
be
Friday.
there.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air is coming on. You're gonna be there. So that's kind of what's happened. Is like we have those people that are like, it's Friday night. MH is going. They're coming on at 7:30, and they
Right.
watch. Although YouTube, they can go back and play it. But I feel like once we became consistent, that's really when we started seeing more growth, more engagement, more comments, questions, things
Yeah.
like that. um, and then I would say too, we talk about the organic growth. Like that
Mm-hmm.
is, we were getting a lot of emails and messages about, hey, we can help get you 1,000 subscribers. Pay
Mm-hmm.
X, pay this and that. And I'll be honest, at some point when you're looking and you're sitting, you're like, how come we're not growing? You're tempted
Right.
to,
Mm-hmm.
well, I wonder how this works out. But I was always too scared to, because I'm like, well, we are growing. And if we do
Right.
this, is it going to shut our channel down?
Yeah.
And for
Right.
me, it wasn't worth even chancing it after putting in so much work, because I've heard stories of people doing that and then things shutting down. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever lessons have we learned?
Well, there's one lesson that you learned, and it was in Alaska when you put out that video and you didn't do all the quality controls and you had some copyright strikes.
Oh, yeah. So just learning how to edit and still get paid.
Right. Right.
Because I've had some of those, like for instance, right now we have some of our older vlogs that for whatever reason YouTube is saying we have copyright strikes or warnings. But back
Mhm.
then that music was copyright free. And now things have
Right.
changed. So it's like learning those things where, okay, where can I truly go to get copyright free music? Do I need to include music? Those types of things. So
Right.
yeah, because we released our Alaska series as a full length movie, and it's at almost
Mhm.
100,000 views, and we didn't get a
Nice.
dime. We didn't get a dime off of it.
No, we did. We did. We got 34
We got
cents.
34 cents.
34 cents off
So
100. That, oh my
and
gosh.
that's because, and it's so funny because the way YouTube works. So the original videos did pretty well. The music at the time, which would have been almost 3 years ago, the music at the time was copyright free. But then I guess the artist decided to add, their stamp on it. No, you can't use this without paying us revenue. So then when I put the movie together as a full length movie to get paid, because you take those smaller vlogs and put them
Yeah.
together, movie, you get paid twice. And so I did that, and yeah, the views took off, almost at 100,000 views.
Yeah.
No pay. Because it's still even to this day learning those lessons. So you just have to be cautious on what you do because you want to get paid for whatever you do.
Right.
And you don't want to fringe on anyone's their content or their music or whatever. So just trying to make sure that whatever you do, it's going to set you, because the way I see it is we have a catalog of over 1,000 videos right now,
Mm.
and we're going to constantly get paid on YouTube. And so you want to make sure that even if you're just getting started, that you do it right, because you're going
Mhm.
to continue to get paid over years on
Right.
that one video is going to keep making you money.
Right.
And so that was something that I wish I would have known back then,
Mhm.
because I still to this day will start getting random flags from YouTube to say, "Oh, you can't earn any more money on this video because this one song is
Mhm.
now has a copyright." So
So did you when that occurred, did you go in to like edit the song? Because
I
you can
couldn't.
go
And
in to
it
just
was like 18 songs.
ooh,
Yes, because the
no.
video itself was like 4 hours long. So my whole Alaska series, I put them together as one long movie, and it was like 4 hours long, and it was like 18 songs or 18 clips. So I started going through the process
Ah,
of trying to clip it and do this and that, but I felt like it was going to mess up the quality of the video, so I just let it
got
be.
you.
But the beauty of that is that we did gain
A lot of subscribers.
probably 400 or 500 subscribers from that one video.
Nice.
So I take it as, okay, those subscribers are going to eventually watch more videos, which will get me paid. But yeah, so those are things that um, you kind of learn the hard way.
Right,
But those that
right,
are up and coming, trying to, just be careful on what you put in your videos, because if you want to continue to get paid on them, you have to make sure you're not going to have those copyright issues.
right. Have you seen the ones where they sort of share your stuff where, hey, this isn't a strike, but um the owner has agreed to let you
Mm-hmm.
play it, but now you have to share the
Yep.
revenue,
Yep.
basically.
Revenue sharing. Yep. I have a few videos like that too. But so now I try to just make sure whatever I put in there is copyright. And if I have a question on it, I just won't put music because it's not worth
Right.
it. I want to get all my coins.
Or your look, okay, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. So, now we talked about lessons learned, but what were some of your biggest challenges? Because I know you mentioned how to edit was like one. You had to
Mhm.
learn how to edit. Was there other challenges like maybe equipment or the best equipment to use, or maybe lighting, or what was some of
Yeah.
your
Well, I would definitely say equipment. And not really a challenge, but it was when I first got started, there was a lot of pressure, a lot of, you kind of watch other content creators, or you start watching videos about what you need to get started. You don't need
okay?
nothing but your camera,
No.
your phone. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need anything but your phone. And that's what I tell people, because I get a lot of questions every day. How did you get started? What type of equipment do you use? This and that. Now, as I've grown, I have added on some other equipment just to add different angles, but I still a lot of times use my cell phone. I do
Right.
have a GoPro. I do have an Insta 360. But that's really it. I don't have like any fancy equipment. I just now got lights here, and I'm gonna try to turn this into a studio of some sort. But I just now got lights in here. So you really don't need all of that.
Right.
So but that, I mean, that was kind of a challenge because I felt like my equipment wasn't good enough. And really
Mm-hmm.
it was. I felt like I needed to put money into buying things, and I really didn't. But for me, I would say another challenge would be just having a family. So
Mm-hmm.
we would always try to balance kind of what we showed of the kids, because
Right.
we were very private. Like I said, our social media, everything was private. So it was just trying to figure out, okay, is this okay to share about the kids, about the family? Is
Right.
it okay to talk about Andrew's autism? Is it okay? But once we started showing those things, we realized people appreciate that we're showing a
Yeah.
real family. Like you know,
Right.
we're not putting on a show. And that was the other challenge, was getting started with the kids. I didn't know how they were going to act. Like, I didn't know
Right.
what they were going to do. And I knew that I didn't want things to feel scripted or whatever. And
Right.
so just trying to balance them having fun. And I never wanted us to vlog and that to affect them, or,
in a
Right.
negative way.
yeah, in a negative way. But also, speaking of family, I feel like YouTube, just in my own, doing my own little research, I just feel like YouTube doesn't push out family channels as much as they do,
Mm-hmm.
um, solo travelers or couples. And I
Right.
just feel like there's a lot of amazing family channels out there that you're not going to find many family channels that are at like 1 million subscribers, or that are,
Right.
well over 100,000 subscribers. So I just feel like there's kind of this stigma on family, especially when you have family in your name.
Yeah.
Right.
That, and we even talked about possibly revamping things so that maybe we remove the word family from there, but we're going to keep it the way it is. But we kind of even had that conversation, because it's like, I really feel like as much content as we're pushing out, there's no reason why we can't be at 50,000 right now.
Correct.
And I do
Correct.
think sometimes YouTube says, "Oh, family, children." No, we're not gonna
Yeah.
push that. Yeah.
Now,
And you know what's go ahead. I'm sorry, Ron.
one thing that I did notice that she struggles with to this day is this newfound, and I'm going to use air quotes, celebrity, because she can be somewhere and people will notice. Even in our little town in Ohio, people
Mm-hmm.
will notice her. And it just happened, what, 2 days ago?
Hmm.
We were at a Special Olympics Christmas party, and
Mm-hmm.
there was someone there that recognized her. She struggles with that because that's not in her nature.
Yeah, because I don't see myself as a celebrity. And it's like trying to find that balance, because you have to recognize that people somewhat do see you that way.
Right.
And so you have to somewhat acknowledge that. But I like to remain humble. It's like, I'm not a celebrity.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
so when you see me, just approach me and say hi. Like, you don't have to fan out. And I get it all the time, especially when people call my business line and they hear my voice. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's really you. It's for what?" I'm like,
Oh.
"Hey, are you calling to book a cruise? What can I help you with?" And
Right.
they're like,
Right.
"Hold up. So you actually answer the phone?" I said, "Yeah, it's my business. I run my own business." And and they like, I get it all the time. So for me, that's still a challenge. Like, I don't understand. I don't see how like the bigger channels deal with that, because like, I'm like, I still consider us a small channel.
Yeah.
And I feel like we get recognized an awful lot, especially certain cruise lines. If I get on a Carnival ship, it's like I feel like every other person is saying something to me. And I don't mind it, but sometimes it's like a little overwhelming, because I am somewhat of an introvert, and people
Okay.
don't recognize that, because I talk in camera, and you would think,
Right.
because people always say, when you talk on camera, I feel like you're talking to me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's more so because I was an educator. I was a teacher. I was a school administrator. I know how to talk. I just don't like to talk all the time. so,
Right.
so that's been
So
a
that's
challenge.
what they're expecting when they see you.
That's
That's
what they're
that's the
expecting.
Rockwell they want to see, or
Exactly.
that they expect. Right.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, I am that Raquel. Like, if you know me, that I talk the same way, I'm that way.
Mhm.
But the difference is I'm more comfortable when I teach, rather
Right.
than when I'm just having like casual conversation.
Right. I
So
totally
having a
get that.
casual conversation, I get nervous. Like, what do I talk about? And that's what I like love when Ron's with me, because he's a talker. I'm not. And so
Right.
I love it, because he'll kind of keep the conversation going. Whereas if you ever catch me on a solo cruise, I will have a quick conversation with you, but it's not going to probably be. And I think sometimes people walk away with this perception of, oh, well, she does all that talking in the vlogs. Yeah, because I'm teaching and I'm walking you through
Right.
something. I can do that all day long. But to sit down and have a chit chat with you about random things, it's kind of out of my comfort zone. So that is something that I've had to
adjust to.
adjust to.
When we were on the Virgin Voyages, we were stopped, I want to say, no less than 100 times on
Wow.
that 3-day cruise. And
And that shocked me because I only have one Virgin Voyages vlog, but it was talking about how I didn't like it from my first experience. But
Okay.
apparently they must have really watched that or they watched other vlogs. But I was just
Mhm.
surprised because normally I already expect it when I get on Carnival. I expect to get on Carnival ship and there's going to be a ton of people approaching. I'm fine with it. But when we got on Virgin Voyages, I before we even got in the door,
yes,
there was a couple and they were like, oh, and they mentioned us by name and they're like, we watched you and we were on Margaritaville with you. You remember us? And I'm like, no, but okay, thanks for watching. So,
and we're saying that we appreciate all that.
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge. If you're not used to it, it's like
Yeah.
once your channel really grows and people recognize you, some people won't like it at all. And some people, it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable, but I think initially I was uncomfortable for the kids
Right.
because I feel like people have good intentions and we've had plenty of conversations with our kids on how to address people and what to say, what to do, and what
Right.
not to do. But
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes people they have good intentions, but they don't understand that our kids are kids. And so
Right.
you don't come up to Joe Marie
That's
talking to
right.
Joe Marie like you know her, because I will.
That's
You
right.
will see a different
Exactly.
Raquel come out then, right? Um, so, so it's that balance we're trying to figure out because people think they know us, but you really don't. So we don't mind you saying hi. We don't come hugging up on Joe Marie because I'm gonna say
That's
something.
right.
Don't go hugging up on Andrew because they love Andrew. so,
Right. And
so
Andrew would be like, "Who are you? Don't
mhm.
touch me."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've had to have those conversations. But I guess other challenges recently would be trying to keep up with the algorithm and the trends.
Mm,
That is because it's constantly changing. It's like when you
right.
think, okay, I got this, I'm starting to get views, my videos are being pushed out, it changes. And right now
Mhm.
there's a current pattern of clickbait. And
Ah,
we really aren't clickbaiters, but and we posted a video about this where it's almost like YouTube is forcing you to kind of somewhat clickbait because
mhm.
if you ever look at our thumbnails or whatever, it's truly telling you what it's about. It's saying,
Exactly.
hey,
Yeah.
St. Thomas, how to get to Water Island cheap. That's what it says, right? But YouTube wants you to turn that into, oh my gosh, can't believe this happened in St. Thomas. And
Right.
then and that's what they're pushing out. So we notice, and there's other content creators that have come out to say this, we notice an impact on our revenue. Remember, we get right
Yeah.
now, YouTube is my paycheck, my agency's my paycheck. I no longer get paid
Mhm.
from the school districts or whatever. So you have to figure out, well, what do we need to do to get ourselves pushed out? So we have had to recently not clickbait, because what we post is still going to be legit. It's going to be in the video. So like my Holland America, I had to put a title and I had to laugh at it because I'm like, I would never put that. It was, what did I put on that? Geriatric cruise.
Yeah, question mark.
I had to put
And
that
look,
up.
but you know what? I saw that and I said, I watch it later. Like it said geriatric cruise, and I'm thinking, oh, it's just gonna just be it's just a cruise for like older people.
Yeah. So,
But it like to me, information, and I guess it depends on how you're looking for your stuff on YouTube.
yeah.
See, now people like me, like from a consumer standpoint,
hmm
if I go to YouTube, I'm looking for information. So I'm
Yeah.
going to search what I'm looking for. I'm not going to search for geriatric cruise. I'm
Right.
going to search for a first time on MSC, or how to cruise, how to get the best out of cruising on MSC, whatever the case is.
Right, but this is the trick to it. So this is how we clickbait, which is different than how most clickbait. So our thumbnail, because what YouTube is saying is that people see your thumbnail before they see your title. But if
Okay.
people search for certain things, they're going to still find our video. For instance, so that
Okay.
video, I put geriatric cruise on the thumbnail, but the title says is Holland America Cruise Line only for seniors? Because that's a question that people are going to look up. Hey, is Holland America for old people? Is Holland
Got
America
you.
for this? So the video is going to pull up, but that shock factor, because I'm talking geriatric cruise, there's people that are going to click. So that video has done pretty well because I had to, if I would have just put Holland America on the thing, and I noticed, and it just happened like maybe the last 3 months, where before I could put, Carnival Sunrise, and that's it on my thumbnail, and the video will
Right.
get views. But now it's like, if you don't have something that's kind of catchy, YouTube doesn't even push it out. So I'm hoping that in 2025 they kind of backpedal on that, because there's a lot of people complaining about that. People don't want clickbait, but if you truly watch my video, you'll see that I'm not even talking about a geriatric cruise. I'm talking about how, and I kind of started off, hey, in this video, we're going to debunk the myth that
Right.
Holland America is for seniors or
Right.
seniors only. So people that have watched, they see, oh yeah, you still have your same style of how you give
Right.
information. But in order to reach those new viewers, you kind of have to have some level of clickbait, which I hate. I absolutely
Right.
hate it. But when I noticed that my check was X, and then when I started, and now it's this, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to find a balance somewhere, because I need my checks to be here and above. So
That's
that's
right.
kind of, so that right now is probably the biggest challenge for YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I would say too, with that, just the editing process and being consistent. When
Okay.
you travel a lot, like I have a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the most organized person. And people, a lot of times I talk to people, they don't realize that I literally have SD cards all over the place. And I don't know
Oh
what's
my
in what SD card. I just film. And then when it's time to edit, I got to piece it and figure it all out. So for me, the editing process, just trying to be consistent, traveling as much as I do, booking travel, and now having to figure out where all the bits and pieces from this cruise are and put it together into a pretty engaging video. Like for me, that's a challenge, because in my mind, part of me wants to pay somebody to do my editing, but I feel like that takes away from your
They don't
style.
see your vision.
Right. So that's been my challenge. I feel like I have, like right now, I'm probably behind 3 or 4 cruises getting content
Right.
out, but there's content steadily rolling out.
Yeah.
But it's
Right.
just hard to keep up with it all.
So let me ask you this: this is a two-part. I want you to answer in terms of family, and then answer in terms of, oh, look at the spaniel.
This is David Ruffin.
This is our David Ruffin.
Oh, that's David. Hey, David.
David Ruffin from the Temptations. Yeah,
Yes.
David Ruffin. We love Motown.
Oh my God. Oh, that's the one who, if you're inside, they want to be inside. Then they want to
Yeah,
go outside. Then they
yeah,
want to come back in. And it's
yeah, all day.
usually when you're live,
Yeah,
David Ruffin wants to
absolutely.
make his appearance. Yes.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of here right now.
So family versus when you're traveling solo, right? When you're recording, do you plan what you're going to record more when you're with your family, or do you just wing it, or is it the same when you're traveling solo or family? And the reason I ask that is because in reference to recording, I find that when it helps with editing, because if you know what you want to record, right, your camera only goes to record on whatever it is you want to record, and then it stops. So
Yeah,
then it's less editing later.
absolutely.
But I find that in order to spend more time with your family, but still get your content, planning what you want to record seems to work. Well, I'm speaking from my experience, but if I'm like by myself or whatever, and it doesn't matter whether I'm spending time, like I'm actually doing this for a purpose, then it may be I'm recording a bunch of stuff because I really don't know exactly, but I just want to record. Is it the same, or do you treat it different when it comes to your recording, family versus solo?
I think it's the same. I wing everything. So,
Oh, okay.
I would disagree.
what do you mean?
You have somewhat of a loose template of what needs to happen.
I know, because I've done it so many times. I kind of already know I'm going to highlight embarkation. I'm going to highlight
Right.
when I first get on ship, I'm doing a quick spin around of the ship. Like I already know that because that's what I do.
Right.
But I don't plan out what I'm going to vlog.
Okay.
But what I have done over time is, in the beginning, I might, because I do a day-to-day vlog. So if it's a 5-night cruise, you're gonna get 5 vlogs from that cruise.
Okay.
I try to do every day as a vlog. So that's planned out. Initially, for one day, I might have had 4 hours of content that I was trying to get down to 30 minutes.
Oh,
Now I might have an hour worth of content for that day and get it down to 30 minutes. So I record a lot less because I already know what I'm going to do.
right.
Because I've done it so many times, but in the beginning, I didn't really know what I wanted to record or what. So I was just always having the camera on. Whereas now I don't do that. And a lot of times what you see in the video is I'm only showing you the beginning of something because I'm going to sit and enjoy it. So I might talk about, hey, we're going to the theater
Right.
for this. Here's the show. And I might give you 3 or 4 clips from that. But I sat there and I enjoyed the show. Or even
Right.
dinner. I only pull the camera out just to kind of pan and show you the food.
Right.
But I'm eating, I'm enjoying, we're having conversation. So the camera only comes out, for quick moments. I never just set the camera there. We're having dinner, we're talking and showing our full, engagement. But when I'm solo, I think it's the same thing. I think I just kind of wing it. Whenever I see
Okay.
something, I pull the camera out. I'll kind of have an idea of, I want to show as many activities. I want to show the ship. Usually you're going to get the ship in that embarkation day vlog because those vlogs do better than any other vlog.
Yeah.
So I tend to do a tour then. But I think, like, I don't really plan what I'm going to show, what I'm going to do. I just kind of do it as it comes, and then I piece it together into the vlogs. But I record a lot less now
And
than I
that's
did in the beginning.
from the family's perspective. We've gotten so accustomed to it that she just does it and it doesn't interfere with anything because we
Right.
know
Mhm.
we
Right.
can't take the first bite of food until she gets her picture.
And it's a quick picture.
Yes.
It's a quick picture. I don't do all that, having to get all the extra lights out and do this and that. I'm gonna take a quick picture, a quick vertical, a quick horizontal, and we're good. And they know the importance now of the vertical and horizontal because I'm like, I need a vertical for TikTok,
There you go.
Instagram, and then I need the horizontal for. So they already know. Once I do it one way, don't touch it. Let me flip my camera, and we got it that way too. Then eat. You're good.
You
So
know what? And you know what? I just wish some of the formatting and stuff was just, just streamlined just across, because it is a headache
it
sometimes when
is.
you have to do horizontal versus
It
vertical.
really
And
is.
even if you do vertical, you know, it might be too long. Like you got to shorten it for IG, or it's a certain
Yes.
way for TikTok, and it's like, this is just too much.
They do it that way because they don't want you sharing your content across platforms. But I post what I post on Facebook. You're going to see it on Instagram. You're going to see it on
There you
TikTok
go.
because I'm going to get paid on all 3, So, so you're going to see repeat content across.
So I noticed that in some of your videos, and I was watching, like, I said, does she have a, what you call it, a drone? And it wasn't a drone. I guess it's your camera.
The
Now, I remember
Insta360.
when you was on with C, you said that it's a very, very long stick,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't see the stick.
It's an invisible stick. It's the coolest thing. And I used to be embarrassed. That's probably another challenge that I had when I first started. I was always bashful. Like, I would always record down here. Now that camera's here because the way I
Right,
see it is, being shy is not going to get you paid. So people be watching me. You might watch me in the video. People are looking at me and I'm just
right,
talking.
right.
I don't care. But back then, you probably even noticed a different angle. I was talking to my phone down here because I didn't want nobody to see me. Now that stick, I will pull that stick out. It's like 5 feet long, and I will hold it up and walk. And people will be looking up, but it's a 360 camera, so it kind of cuts that pole out of view.
Okay.
So you can get drone like shots. If you ever seen like if I'm standing on a balcony, I
Yep.
might pick a stick out, and it looks like you can get the whole side of the. I love it. It's one of my favorite. Like you can
I
get.
saw it. I said, is that a drone? I'm like,
Mm-mm.
and I guess it wasn't, but it wasn't until your interview with C the other day that I actually caught when you said it's actually a long stick, and you was concerned about using it in certain countries because you
Yeah.
wasn't sure about
Yeah.
their, yeah. So, oh wow.
Mhm.
Mm. That those are some good views, because
It's worth.
everybody can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's worth
Definitely.
getting it. And when I said like I started adding on equipment, that's one piece of equipment that I have no regrets.
Yes.
I think I spent a few $100s on it, but I don't regret it because I use it all the time. And you can get, like I said, 360 shots. You can turn it vertical, horizontal. So I love it because yeah, you can get those drone shots. Sometimes when I'm solo, I want to talk to the camera. I don't have a cameraman. No one
Right.
films me. It's always my face right here. So
Right.
lately, people have even noticed. They say, "Oh yeah, you're doing more body shots." That's because I'm setting my tripod up, or I have my 360 stick and I'm talking, and I'm literally, you might not even see the stick because I'm holding it right here, but the stick is out here and I'm talking, and you would think somebody's filming me, but it's just the way
Right.
the 360 set up. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've always wondered, like when I see people when they're by themselves and I see them like record themselves coming down the escalator, I'm thinking now, you're not afraid somebody gonna pick your phone up or
Hmm.
your stuff and just run with it. You
Yeah.
just set it way over there. As I guess it's the okay.
Oh, I get nervous sometimes, and I think I was telling Carlene, I said I probably need to piece together all my clips because, like, you might see me like walking by the camera, like all casually, like I'm just walking, but then
Yeah.
you'll see me in camera scurrying back to grab my camera real quick. So,
See, I figured it had to be that because I said even getting somebody else to take a picture for you, people are like going through your phone while they trying to take
yeah,
the
yeah.
definitely not.
Hmm.
Um, who was some of your? Did you have anybody who inspired you, or or other channels that you maybe referred to during the beginning of your channel, and then do you even have some today?
So initially, when I first started YouTube, when we first started watching YouTube, right during the pandemic, there weren't a whole lot of like Black content creators,
Right.
especially not in the cruising space. So when I
Mhm.
first started watching cruising, the channel that I watched, and I literally binge watched them during the pandemic, was Pero DJ.
Mm,
I don't know if you know Pero DJ, but they give very informative vlogs, so very very similar to my style. I've met them a few times.
mhm.
Very very similar to my style. um and they cruise a lot. I think they're on like cruise 140 right now or so. So
Wow.
they cruise a lot. So they were like the first ones that I watched, and I kind of somewhat mimicked my style off of that. And then EECC Travels, I don't know if you know who they are as well. They're another big non-melanated content cruising, because that's kind of where it started. Like that's the first few channels that I
Right.
saw. And then over time, I think honestly, I think the first cruising channel that I saw that was a family channel that was Black creators was Rich and Jazzy.
Uh-huh.
um so started watching Rich and Jazzy, and then over time I started liking other channels. I honestly, I don't consume as much YouTube as I probably should. Like I don't watch as much because I feel like I'm always on the go, always busy. I have a long queue of things to watch. But I would say, I don't know. Trying to think of who do I watch a lot of. Um I love AK Adventures, but they don't really post as much anymore. I
Mhm.
love Lynette and Stanley, Life with Us
Mhm.
TV. They're probably one of my favorites right now. Life with Us TV. There's another channel called the Travel Scouts. They give cruise news.
Yes.
Oh,
So they and they've grown really fast, but they're kind of, if you watch Lalito Loca,
yes. Mhm.
they're not, they're his style, but they give the cruises just like he does, but his is kind of like long-winded, and
Mhm.
theirs is very, and they say if we're not with the fluff, we're just gonna give you the cruise news, and it's like 3 or 4 minutes every day. So I love the
Okay.
Travel Scouts. Um yeah, and then I mean there's a lot of other channels that I love to watch. Like I love to watch trying to think, Parker's on the Go. You
Yeah.
have YFC. You have Carlene See It with C. So there's quite a few. Sig the Solo Cruiser, Phil D's Travel Spree. So there's a lot of channels that I like to watch. I like to watch people
You can relate to.
that I can relate to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
initially starting, I didn't see those channels. So
Mm,
initially my the content creators that I was watching, they weren't you know
right.
like us.
Got you. Okay. They not like us. Okay.
I mean, I still watch him though. I still watch Pero DJ. I don't watch EECC as much, but I still watch Pero DJ. Still watch Rich and Jazzy from time to time. But yeah, I mean, there's so many content creators
Yeah.
out there. But I tend to look for, so like there's a bunch of random content creators that I don't necessarily follow, but I'm the type,
Mhm.
like when I went to Greece,
Right.
um did a lot of research for Greece. So there probably was maybe 10 different people that I got Greece information from or watched their videos.
Mhm.
Can't call them by name. So I just do like random YouTube. There's
Right.
not
Right.
really there's not really channels that I could say that I go to for certain things, but I
Right.
just watch a bunch of different YouTube.
Right. Okay. So, based on, with your journey that you did from beginning to end, I'm pretty sure, you know, regardless of the lessons learned, the people you've connected with, channels that inspired you, your challenges that you've had, your successes, what are you most proud of when it comes to your journey?
I would say kind of well, a few different things. The first one would be not feeling like we've had to force this, because I do think that there
Mm-hmm.
are some channels that almost have to force creating the content and doing it. We do it because we love it.
Right.
And then like with the kids, some people have commented, like you might have seen them more active in the beginning. Our like Andrew's grown. Andrew's 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dice is 16. So you're not seeing them in the camera as much because they don't want to be in the camera. And I'm not
Right.
gonna make them be in the camera,
Mhm.
And we never made them be in the camera. If they were on cameras because they wanted to be.
Yep.
And so I think I'm just proud of the fact, because initially I wasn't sure how this would evolve with us being a family channel, but it's just kind of doing what it's, I guess, supposed to do. The kids are growing up, they're getting older, they're branching
Mm-hmm.
off doing other things. Jo Marie is going to start picking up the camera because she wants to do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you're going to start seeing a lot more content from Jo Marie, because she's really into cameras and uh, stuff like that. So she'll be doing more of that, but you're probably going to see less of like Dice, because he just doesn't,
Okay.
and that's fine.
Okay.
So, and we're fine with that.
It's evolving.
Yeah, it's evolving. You're going to see a lot more of me,
Mhm.
Okay.
and that's because I'm doing it full time. And so I just like that I think we kind of stayed true to who we are and just kept things
Mm-hmm.
natural. Nothing about what we do feels forced or,
And it's enjoyable.
yeah. So I think it's enjoyable. I would also say that I'm kind of proud of myself, because I feel like I'm a little less introverted doing this
Mm-hmm.
now, and I'm more comfortable with public speaking. I mean, I was a school teacher and a school principal, so of course I had to do public speaking, but it's different talking about I mean, I'm a doctor in
Mm-hmm.
education, so I mean, I went to school for it, and I could talk left and right about education, this and that, whatever, but I feel like I'm a little less introverted because of it. So I'm stepping
Okay.
out of my comfort zone. Um, I would say also the partnerships with us being what you would consider a smaller channel, because people don't realize 25,000, where we think it's a lot, it's really, compared to a lot of channels, it's still a small channel. And so I'm proud of the fact that we've landed some major partnerships. And
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it goes to the saying of, it's the quality over quantity, because
Yeah.
you might have these mega influencers who have 100,000 followers, but either they're not getting views, or they're not
Mm-hmm.
able to, in my case, convert those viewers into sales,
Right.
or what have you. So, like, we've worked with Royal Caribbean and MSC
Wow.
Cruises and Princess Cruises and Holland America. So, those are some of our partners. We have an ongoing partnership with Resort for a Day and Shore Excursions Group and Cruise Control Transportation. So, for us to be a small channel, I feel like we've accomplished some, in some cases, more than some of the larger channels have, in
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
terms of some of the partnerships and working with some of the cruise lines, which it doesn't have any effect on the content that we share. Um, but I'm kind of proud of that, because I honestly thought it would take to get 100,000 subscribers in order to start getting those deals.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's just a
No.
matter of advocating for yourself, pushing yourself out, sharing your data,
Right.
and being able to truly promote the cruise line and talk about them, educate others on them, that's really what they're looking for. So, and I'm part of I guess, a cohort of other content creators, and we're always talking about all kinds of things. We're motivating one another. We're kind of talking, these types of things. And it's like, it doesn't matter how small you are. Put yourself out there. Like, go ask. It doesn't hurt to ask,
Right.
because things could happen. You just never know, because there's a thing called micro influencers, and it's those channels
Mhm.
that are under 100,000 followers. The micro
Mhm.
influencers have a lot of power,
Right.
and I think some of us don't understand that, because people see us still as real, if that makes sense.
Right.
When you
Right.
get to be too large, you're more like a true celebrity.
Right.
And we're watching you for the entertainment, not because we're going to really take what you share and go do it, or
Right.
we're not necessarily trusting what you're saying, because we know, you're that big, you're getting paid to say these things, or whatever the case might be. So
Right.
there's a lot of value there. But what else? Anything else you're proud of?
For me, I think it's showing that a family of five can be budget friendly and make travel affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we did one video series where all five of us was in a cabin, and that got quite a bit of views because there's a
You
lot of
said 5 in what on which ship? In the suite?
Carnival Elation. No, it wasn't a suite.
Hold on a minute. I need
Well,
to check that one out.
and
You
let me
said
tell you. Now let me tell you what the title is. So this was a little bit of clickbait. It says, I think, what did I call it? 5 people in the cabin, just to sleep, shower, and that's the
no.
title.
Did you put the poop emoji up there?
I just put the SH and then the stars. The
Okay.
sleep shower, because that's really what it was at that time. The boys were smaller,
yeah.
and we fit.
Yeah.
And I gave strategies on how you can use the spa showers, to split up. The boys would go take showers, they would go into the locker room and take their showers, while Joe and I would stay in the cabin, take our showers. So yeah, we give those types of tips and things, and that's actually a popular video. I still get people. In fact, I just booked someone because they watched that video and they're like, "We're a family of five and we want to do the same thing." So I just booked someone because they saw that.
Oh
So
my
yes,
God.
so we
I'm
try to
gonna
show
have to
people
look
how
at
to
that.
save money.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to visualize it. I can't. I'm just thinking of 3 people in the room, or maybe even 4 if it's bunk beds, but 5.
Yep, it's the king bed, and then the 2 bunk beds that come over top of it, and then there's a trundle bed on the floor,
Yep.
Oh wow.
like a cot. Yep.
But for us, it made good content
At the
at the time.
I wouldn't do that now, but at the time it made good. At the time it made good content. Like, no, I wouldn't do that now.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, based on that, of all that been through with your journey, from starting from cooking and evolving into family travel as well as solo traveling, travel agency, um, and your accomplishments, what kind of advice would you give to someone just starting out?
Um, I would say not to get consumed with the data, because I
Mm-hmm.
know when you first get started, you're hearing, okay, you got to have so many watch hours, you have to have so many subscribers, and people get so stuck on getting those numbers that it's not enjoyable. And I think that's where, because I've
Right.
known quite a few people that have started channels and have stopped or aren't consistent. And it's because they were getting discouraged. So, like for me, I don't even look at YouTube Studio. I know you know what that is, where you can see all of
Yeah.
the data and all the information every day. When I first started, I literally probably 50 times a day was refreshing that, because I wanted to see, oh, did I get a subscriber? Oh, did I get some views? I don't
Mm-hmm.
do that anymore. He asks me all the time, how did that video do? And what do I tell you? I don't know. I'm not looking at it. I just don't. Like, I'm not going to overwhelm myself with.
You're not telling the truth, but that's okay.
I probably add a few more words to it.
Yeah.
I You keep asking me the same question. I don't care. Like, I really don't. Like, it's going to do what's going to do. I mean,
Right.
and that's really what it is. So, I would say also, don't feel like you have to go get a whole bunch of equipment, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of content creators just doing it from their phone. If you have a nice quality, good phone, I have an iPhone 15. Takes amazing. Sometimes it takes better video than my GoPro.
Okay.
Right. So use what you have. Don't feel like you have to go get all this new stuff to get started. I would also say be your natural self, because and I get a lot of comments on this, and sometimes I'm like, well, that could be a little offensive. I've had people say things to me like, um, you're the first content creator that I see that doesn't wear makeup, or yeah, like and I think it comes from a good place. And like
Right.
there was one, yeah, she has a faceless channel. And she
Okay.
was like, you've encouraged me to actually put my face on camera. And I'm like, well, what you trying to say? She didn't mean anything by it, but she was just saying that, she sees how, I guess I come out looking any kind of way. I don't do my hair. I don't wear makeup. I don't, you're going to see repeat clothes. In my vlogs, you're
Right.
going to see me in the same stuff. I don't care. Like, I'm not going
Right.
shopping before every cruise. You're going to see repeat this and that. So, I just say be your natural self, because you're going to find that most people appreciate that. They don't want
Mm-hmm.
a done up version of yourself. Like, if
Right.
this is who I am when I'm at home, that's what you're going to see on camera. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not seeing anything on camera that you would not see if you walk through my front. Well, just say you walk through my front door. It might look a little different, um, but you get what I'm saying. So I say
Right.
just be your natural self, and don't let your flaws like stop you from doing things,
Right.
because like I
Right.
said in the beginning, I was getting a lot of comments about me saying and about certain things that I would do, or people would call me fat. Like I would get a lot of fat comments.
Are you
Or
serious?
if I was eating, they would say, oh, there she go eat, run my engagement up. Say what you want to say right now, because
Okay.
I'm taking that check on the
Hit that like
21st of the
button while
month.
you at it.
I'm taking my check on the 21st of the month and booking another cruise. So thank you. Um, so yeah, just those, don't let the flaws, because everyone has flaws. And I
Mm-hmm.
think some people feel like you have to be a master in public speaking, or you have to look a certain way to blog. People want to see everyone's perspective. That's why it's called
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. It's about
Right.
you. So, present yourself as you are, and don't feel like, because for me, it's too stressful trying to get done up for the camera and this and that. That's
Yeah.
not who I am. Like, that's not, so just kind of,
I agree.
be natural. Be consistent, and just like, don't overwhelm yourself, if you
Right.
because it can be overwhelming trying to do it all, the editing, the pushing things out, looking at the analytics, comparing yourself. Like, just go with the flow and let it's going to do what it's going to do.
Right.
And there's really no tricking the algorithm. The algorithm is really going to do what it wants
It's
you.
gonna do what it's gonna do.
Right, no one has a clue how it works, so just push the content out there as best as you can. And initially you're going to get lower views, but it's going to eventually click, and it's going to, once it clicks, it's going to be
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what can we expect from MH Family Adventures going forward?
A lot more cruise content. So
Okay.
this year we wrapped up the year with 22 cruise. Well, we still got one cruise next week.
Yeah.
22 cruises this year. Next year we have 15 on the books, but I know there's going to be more, because again, we have sponsors, and we're working with other cruise lines. So I know there'll be some more opportunities coming. There's going to be more international travel. So we've gotten some good feedback. Like when I took my first international cruise with my sisters, a lot of people really love that.
Mhm.
Seeing, Black women traveling abroad,
Right.
vlogging it, sharing information. So there'll be a lot more international travel, stepping out to other cruise lines. I've
Mhm.
noticed that we're getting new subscribers because we are branching outside of like Carnival and Royal Caribbean.
Right.
So more cruise lines.
Yeah.
You're gonna see some family vlogs, but there's probably gonna be a lot more of me solo or me with other people
Okay.
than the family, because of scheduling. Like I said, Andrew is now working,
Right.
so he's not easily able to take off like he was before. Ron works, of course. Dice is kind of doing the teenage thing. So
And the kids are in school. So.
yeah, they're in school.
Right.
So what else? I plan to continue doing our TGI Fridays. So every Friday there's a cruise vlog, but I'm also incorporating more port guides, because
Okay.
I am an educator, and I want to teach things, and I've done so many cruises now. I have so much content. So like I've done like a Nassau, Bahamas cruise port guide. I've done Coco Cay. So I'm going to do more port guides for destinations. Those things will be rolling out. What else?
Maybe a master class.
Yeah, I get questions all the time about how to kind of tie the travel agency with YouTube or how to be a content
Oh,
creator. I get a lot of those like daily. I get questions and I just can't answer them all because I have, and I hate to do that because I just can't respond in detail where I would want. So I am looking at doing like some sort of master class where people can come and, you know, talk with me about starting up YouTube or travel agency and kind of how those all work together. Because honestly, if it wasn't for YouTube, we wouldn't, our travel agency would not be where it is.
right, right.
Um, so we're very, very thankful for that. But yeah, we're just going to continue on cruising, working with some new partners we have coming up for next year. Um, that's really it. We want to do a lot more collaborations with other content creators too. So that's something that we
Okay.
just recently started. You saw the interview with Carlene.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to your favorite couple. We're looking at, you know, bringing other people on our channel to kind of
Mm,
do our chit chat Tuesdays with us, just to kind of branch out and just reach new people and
right.
to help encourage other channels. And, you know, um,
Okay.
I don't want to say that we have a platform or anything like that, but I do feel like I honestly, I know one of your questions before was asking about like who has been a mentor, and I'll be very honest to say
Mhm.
like I felt like on this journey, a lot of what I've done has been self-guided and self.
Right.
So there really hasn't been like that person or that channel that has
Yeah.
kind of. So I kind of feel just in my role as an educator or my role as trying to help mentor, like just kind of connecting with other like-minded content creators so we can all grow together. So that's kind of
Right.
something that I want to do and kind of doing.
Yeah, because there's enough room for everyone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
Nice to you there. Yeah.
some people act like it's not, you know, it's like it's enough to go
It
around.
it really is. It really is because what, you know, people that watch me may not watch the next person or
Mhm.
they may not like us, and that's fine. I may not be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine with me. So yeah, there's plenty, and I say that with travel agency too. There's enough travel advisors to go around. I may be for you,
Mhm.
I may not be for you. So, you know, um, but yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of cruising. So I'm already tired thinking about it for next year. I was already starting to map stuff out, and I'm like, what did I do? Like,
How far in advance do you normally schedule your stuff? Like, are you like
um,
booked up for all next year, or is it like you just play it by ear?
oh, I'm booked up for all of next year. But what I'm learning being in this space is that opportunities start popping up. So I have to
Mm,
stop planning so far out.
yeah.
I like to plan far out because usually the cruises are cheaper if you book in advance. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have time to pay on it, you know, because
Yeah.
pretty much YouTube covers all of my travel.
Right.
That's just kind of where we're at right now. So and we're thankful for that. But
Very.
I feel like opportunities pop up a lot, and I'm getting to the point where I have to cancel cruises or push things around,
Oh,
and then a lot of times there's non-refundable deposits and things. So I'm going to have to probably start, if things continue the way they are with us getting, you know, these opportunities, I'm going to have to stop planning less and just kind of go with the flow.
go with the
It's hard
flow.
for me to do because I like to have a plan for what I'm going to do, but I'm
Yeah.
learning that you know, sometimes things happen and I need to be flexible.
Okay. All
So
right.
this is a woman that when she's not flexible, she has a very regimented schedule, daily schedule.
But
Okay.
not really. But I'm learning because, like, for instance, we have a partner that I may be going to Dubai.
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know exactly when, but so it's like now I'm like, okay, I'm booked up every month. So when that falls in, will I have to change a cruise or what will I have to do?
Right.
So I just have to be flexible.
So I think, Raquel, that some people don't realize that when you plan the day, it's just so you're able to fit everything you need to in the day. Because
Mhm.
if it's not planned, then you may not be as productive as you probably could have been if it had
Yeah,
been thought about and strategically planned. So,
right.
okay, all
Hmm.
right. Well, with that, MH Family Adventures, I appreciate you and thank you so much for coming
We
on.
appreciate you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
well, I appreciate both of you in reference to this because, like I said, I just remember looking and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like in with like she knows everybody. I know them too, you know. So I said, let me see if I can get her on. So, and the information that you provide is a wealth of knowledge. a wealth of knowledge, and it's always in a way where people can digest it, whether they're a first-time traveler or sometimes traveler or an experienced traveler. You always seem to bring things to the screen where people can relate to and actually take it and act on it and actually experience it without the anxiety of,
That's
well,
our
I'm
goal.
not sure, so definitely. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much.
No, we
And
appreciate
Thank you
it.
I
so much.
guess we will see you on Fridays with the vlogs and also
Yes.
with the live chit chats. And David Ruffin, I'm sure, will host an appearance as usual.
Yes.
Yeah, as usual. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Well,
Thanks
it's been
again.
a pleasure. You all, thank you so much. And you all have a good evening.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the they done baptized the bad guy. Still don't follow religion. The fabric's not average. The cotton's Egyptian. 500 for the shoes come dirty, but the European. Less is more and less is the bank. Up the score, I pull up from trade. From the tray, I'm ballin' like trade. Do what I can, I do what you can't. I wrote this 30,000 feet up. 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm tryna get that type of wealth like a house on the hills, can't see us. Say the money still me up.